Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I am Everardo Resendiz, known around here as Coach Ever. I am a certified executive and business coach over here in Northwest Louisiana with Action Coach. Today, I have Drake Bajat with Restoration One in Lafayette, who's going to be talking about his business, the journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek into what it really is like to own and operate a business. If this is your first time on the channel, please be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications when we drop new conversations just like this one. And so, without further ado, Drake, welcome and thank you for being here today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me, Ever.
Hey, will you share with us a brief overview of your background and tell us a little bit about Restoration One?
Okay, I started in accounting right out of high school with my dad's firm. Uh, he was doing it part time, and I got into that. I've kind of always been entrepreneurial. I took that in a few years. I had a couple of people working for me. We did computerized accounting, so needless to say, when companies could afford computers, well, guess what? We lost clients. So I went to work for one of them. Then I went to work for a major independent oil company for 6 years. And I got laid off in a buyout. And I was just tired of working for other people trying to climb the corporate ladder. So I had contacts in the construction industry and that's when I started my first company. I was 30 years old, started a paint contracting company with me and one man, kind of BS'd my way into new construction through my brother-in-law. He had an inn and built that up, and I stayed in that for 12 years. Got in 92, sold out in '04, and by then I had 40 men working for me. Took me two
Wow.
years to build up to that. I had two drywall crews, three paint crews, and I had a hang foreman that just ran all the drywall hanging. I did that,
Before you
sold
keep
out of
going,
that.
let me go back a little bit. So you had been already the employment route. You had, of course, lived through the perhaps lack of control that you have over your life when other people are making decisions about things, right? And you decided I'm going to take it on my own, right? What was
Correct.
that transition like?
It was a bit hectic in that I didn't know the paint business. So I had to learn that. But the good thing was that because my background was in accounting and I had run companies, I knew the business end of it, which I find is a lot of times what happens with people when they go into business. You can be the best electrician in the world, but you go into the business and you don't know the business end of it. You don't
Right.
understand the financial part. You don't know that, yeah, it looks like you have a lot of money, but you haven't accounted that you have to pay for these materials when the end of the month statement comes because you have this charge account. And I think that's where a lot of smaller businesses fail. And I think there's a misconception with people that I'm going to go into business for myself so I can do what I want,
Right. Right.
and that's a fallacy that people think they see these business owners and they're successful and they can take a trip and they drive nicer vehicles, but what they don't see and what they didn't see was the getting to that point. They see the okay, you're here, but they don't realize they didn't see him getting there because you don't see them because they're always at work trying
No,
to
and
get there.
there's a lot of sacrifice and blood and sweat and
It
tears that
does.
goes along in those early stages. In using your example of the electrician, right? So if I am an electrician, I work for somebody, right? And I'm getting paid $25 an hour, to say a certain amount of money. That's a good salary, right? And then I get to see that my boss charged, $2,500 to change a light, right? Or something along those lines. And I'm like, why will I get paid $25 an hour and they get paid 2,500, right? I'm exaggerating, right?
Of course.
But that's what drives people into, okay, I'm going to go and do this on my own. But they're not taking into account all the overhead. And the reason that you get to charge what you charge is because there's a structure behind you. right? There's a lot of
Right.
financial responsibility and risk that goes along with it. So,
That's correct.
I get it, and thank you for sharing that. I just wanted to put that parenthesis in there because this is really what the podcast is about, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
so now tell me a little bit about Restoration One.
Well, Restoration One came about. I was in oil and gas. I got into oil and gas. I was still self-employed, quote unquote, but someone actually uh toward the end, someone really started controlling what I did again because I would manage these huge oil and gas projects for 2 years or so, and so anyway, I was kind of back to that point, but because I could come and go like I wanted, I really dictated my own hours. There was benefits. I was home more, and and so I started looking. I have a tax and accounting firm that I own as well. And so when COVID hit, I started working from home. So I tried the at home office thing. That didn't work out real well because my wife didn't understand that, well, you're home.
Right.
Because normally when I'm home, I'm home. And I'm like, no, I'm working. So I went and got an office outside of the home so I could actually work and not her not come in there.
Hey,
And
guilty.
that's
Now,
when
I didn't have my wife at home to do that, but I went through the same thing. It was me. I couldn't separate being at home and being at work.
yes,
You know what I mean?
it's difficult. It really is. It takes a special individual. So in doing happened with COVID and working away, I realized I'm like, when I had my paint company, I could go away and things still took place and I still made money. Whereas right now I do really, really well, except that if I don't produce, I don't make money.
That's right.
So I need to start getting other people to produce for me so I can make money while I'm sleeping. And I started looking into franchises and I looked at quite a few. And I settled on the water industry, the water, fire, and mold remediation. I ran the numbers. I'm a numbers guy, and the profit I thought was best there. I didn't realize it was going to take a little bit longer than I thought to get started, and cost a little bit more than I anticipated to get it done. And so, I did my due diligence and I purchased my franchise, the rights to my franchise in January 22. I started taking the necessary classes for certifications. I onboarded in at the end of March in 22. My first employee was my business development manager. And I had spoken to other franchisees who said either that's the one thing they were glad they did, or the ones who didn't get a business development manager, salesperson in the beginning said, I wish I would have.
Right.
Because if not, you're trying to do the jobs, you're trying to get the sale. So you're out there selling, you're not making money, or you're out there working, you're not selling. So I kind of approached it a little differently in that the way that I looked at it. That way, I'm not the face, I'm not building the relationships. And then I have to introduce someone else, and I'm telling them, oh, so I'm going from dealing with the owner to dealing with an
Yeah.
underling more or less. So I hired a business development manager, young girl in her 20s. In fact, she's my godchild, but she actually was looking to change careers because she was pregnant and she didn't want to have to work 8 to 5. So she had some flexibility with her children, and she's a great, very outgoing personality. And when she had her child, I put her in uh, a sales program for a consulting firm that's affiliated with Restoration One, and that was night and day for her. But I've never approached it as a sales position. I've approached it more as a building relationship
Right.
position, which because of that, I didn't make the money with her that I maybe could have in the beginning. But now that's all those relationships are starting to pay off. The plumbers, we're the only restoration company in my area that plumbers, uh, insurance agents, property managers, or real estate agents, insurance agents, we're the only one they'll refer to
Right.
their customers and clients because we treat our people right. The culture that I have is we're invading your home. We're trying to be as little disruption to your life as possible. Most of the other companies will come in, they want to tear everything out. You call them at 10 o'clock at night, they want to stay till they're done. Well, you need to go to work tomorrow.
Right.
So what we'll do is go in there, we'll tell you, hey, look, we gotta get this wet floor out. It's gonna take us a couple hours. We're gonna stabilize you. We're gonna come back tomorrow. Y'all get some sleep. We'll come in here, get your kids off. How about 8? What time's a good time to come? And we're going to do what we need to do for you. We'll stabilize you. Everything's going to be fine. You're not going to have any growth overnight. So we'll do those things for people. We try to do as little demo as possible. I trained my guys that are in the field. One of them's been with me right at 2 years now. The other one near just a few months short shy of him. And it's our culture. I have every review we have is 5 star. All I get is compliments from my remediation techs. I have a construction division. I have a guy that runs that. Nothing but compliments. Your people were so nice. They were clean. They got here. They worked. They're not on their phones all the time. They're not going outside to smoke. So those are the types of things that it's kind of a reflection of this is how we do things over here.
Right. It's having that
You know,
focus on the customer experience and
right?
understanding where they are. 'Cause you're right. I mean, something like that happens. It really it's a major trauma. And
Oh, it
you're coming in
is.
at those times, right? And you're
It
coming in and
is
you're having to appease them when everything is going wrong for them.
correct, and they've never experienced it. So they don't know insurance. Is insurance going to cover this? How much is it going to cost? Everyone knows how to deal with a car accident. You bring it to the body shop, they give you an estimate, they go fix it. It's not a big deal. But you're dealing with your home.
Yeah.
Do you need to take all my floors out? Can I salvage? Oh, those type things. I mean, it is traumatic because
Absolutely.
it's not normal. So we try to lessen that for them. And it's the type of people that I have working for me, but I don't do the field.
Right.
They do that. That like this is yours. You do this. And they do.
Good.
If the
So
customer
they
needs me, they
probably get
call me.
that praise from the customers too themselves, right?
They do. They do.
Okay.
And they'll
Love it.
write, I have a little comment section. When we're done for the insurance company, you fill out a certificate of completion and satisfaction to show that yes, the job was complete and we're good because the insurance company pays me. And a lot of times they'll write on there how nice they were, a great job. And, so they see it too. And I'll tell them that customer calls me and tells me, I tell my guys like, hey, so and so called, you know,
Right.
to
You hit a
say,
you hit a couple of great points through this conversation. Of course, that the culture is good, that the focus on the customer experience is important, right? And that the feedback to your people is what drives that culture. But what's your role right now? Describe what it is
right
that
now,
Drake does these days.
I'm still working a lot of hours, and that is because what people don't realize is it takes a couple years, 2, 3 years to get a business off the ground because you have to do things and fill roles that other people will eventually fill, but you don't have the work or the money for it to get it done. So
Right.
recently we have expanded enough. We have the workload for it. I now have an office manager who has she's phenomenal. She's taken over. She has put things into place and got me to do things that I didn't even think about. You know, she just so happened to be looking. God sends people to me that I don't even know that how it happens. I really don't have. That just it happens. And then so she's putting a lot of things in place. She's taking over all the accounting, all the bookkeeping. My books are straight. My accounting's right. My payables are good. It's really because I'm in a constant state of catch up and flux because I have to concentrate on one thing so something else would lag. And I got to catch that up, something else would lag. So now I have an estimator and a guy who does the billing, and I just have to review it. So that's getting all caught up. So right now I'm in the process of transitioning to more of a true owner making things happen
Good. Yeah.
versus being involved in the like every minute day to day operation that's going on. That's I'm in that transition phase now, and you got to figure it's 3 years. You know, it's getting to
three
right at three
years
years.
to be able to consider yourself stable enough. But what's the play here, Drake? Are you planning on staying in this business for very long? What do you want to do with it?
Yes. Oh yeah,
What's
no, no,
the
I'm gonna stay. And I've told my people that what I've done and what I'm doing is I'm building it to sell, but not selling it.
very good,
So and the thing with that is if I build it to sell, then that means it functions whether I'm here or not.
great,
But I don't want to sell it because the people that I have taken on and the people that I bring on, they're helping me to build it.
right, right,
So I'm going to have them in place to do that. And that's the plan. So, and I tell them when they come on, if you come on, you may make a little bit less money than you can make somewhere else, but I'm gonna treat you well, and what I'm gonna have you do, I'm gonna pay you what the job can pay. And they get paid well to work for me. I'll pay better than a lot of the other restoration companies around town. And if you help me build it, then later on you're gonna make way more money than you could make anywhere else
right.
because you're gonna get paid to function
Your
in a thriving
value will
business.
increase for this organization as you learn and get better at it.
That's right. You're going to correct. And so that's the way that I approach it. Because I mean, I have grandchildren. I have two granddaughters. I have two grandsons. Do they want to do this? Can they come in and take it over on the business end, on the business side? Do do they have the fortitude and the ability to expand it into other locations? To start new divisions, to go into real estate or storage or, you know. So for me, I'm at the age that that's not for me. I don't want to, if I was still in my 30s or 40s, yeah, we can go to this and start doing different divisions and expansions. And that's not me. But what I am doing is I'm becoming very efficient at what we do. So we're going to be the best, we're going to be the biggest, and we're going to do volume that no one realizes was even possible for the size firm that we have. And the people who do it will be compensated for that.
Love it. I love it. Okay, so what's one thing you wish more people knew about your franchise of restoration?
I, that's a difficult question because everyone who knows us, the reason that we are in the position that we are is because of that they know that we are the go-to. I think what I wish more people knew, not necessarily about Restoration One, but about the industry in general, is that there are a lot of myths out there that they're misconceptions. You know, wet carpet has to be taken out, wet drywall has to be cut out. We have to wait on the insurance company before we can start. Uh, it just those type things that they're not true. You
Right.
know, I can dry wet carpet if you want to save your carpet. I don't cut your drywall out because it's wet. Even an insurance adjuster will tell you cut it out. I don't need to. Drywall is a water-based product anyway. Carpet is stronger after it gets wet. I can show you the tests. So those are the type things. It's not everyone's worried about us because of either dealings in the past, with people that they're just not honest. And a lot of
or
the other
or they were not
companies,
as prepared as you are. I mean, that's the issue
correct.
with the industry. There's 25 ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
And there's the most efficient way, the most uh, effective one, and then there's the other ways that are being done. So, I mean, if the water has been standing there for several days, maybe it's time to do something a little bit more drastic. But and depending on what kind of water too. But it's it really is on a case by case basis. And whenever you can salvage what you can salvage, by all means. Please do so. It helps everybody, not just the people who are, um, the victims of these disasters, right? Drake. Well, Drake, let me ask you a little bit more about the journey that you have been with in this business, right? We already talked about the fact that you chose these because you saw an opportunity to do something that was generating without your direct interaction with it, which was not the case on the accounting side. If you have to be the one doing all those things, right? But you know, you look at this journey so far. It's not, even with your experience, even with the things that you have done in the past, it's not a walk in the park, right?
No,
So,
no.
um, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you were challenged with, the obstacle in your way that you needed to overcome?
Dealing with insurance companies,
Okay.
really. Because everything that we do is an insurance claim, just about. Very, very, very few are self-pay or small enough for self-pay even. You know, uh, it's just not. Because a lot of times what happens is you have water in your home. A lot of people went, especially where I'm at down here in South Louisiana, a lot of people have done away with the carpet. So it's all laminate floors. Well, the floor gets wet, and a lot of these people put that laminate throughout their home except their bathrooms. Well, now we can't match that floor. So it's your whole house of floors. You may have only wet 2 rooms, but I got to do your whole house. So I'm always dealing with insurances, and insurances act like they know what my cost of doing business is. They insurances want to set your premium and then set what they're going to pay for the damages you have. And they always talking about how much money they lost, but they always paying out dividends in there. And everyone there, they always talking about the profits they made. So what is it? Are you losing money or are you not losing money?
Right.
And so it's one of those, it's just dealing with insurance companies and these sometimes depending, some adjusters are great. Others are like they think they know that what you do and they think they know how you should dry it and what because after all they are an adjuster. And it's like I've told them before, like, hey, listen, man, you need to stick to adjusting and I'm gonna stick to remediation. I didn't tell you how to adjust the claim. You don't tell me how to remediate it. My scope of work is correct.
Right.
It's my price, you know.
But this is being that most of your business comes from, working with
Oh
insurance
yes.
companies.
Oh yeah. Oh
How
yeah.
did you then overcome these, let's call it, difficulty?
I mainly because I know what the laws are. I check that out. I know what the rules are. Uh, I do use a program that the insurance industry uses called Exactimate. So, but Exactimate is a pricing module as well.
Right.
It has a price and it's based on. But what I did was I spoke to the company that produces that company called Verisk, and I asked them, "How's this done?" Well, it's only done with the people who report to it. Or if once you do it, you upload it to the cloud so they can have access to it. A lot of people never put those in the cloud.
Mm.
So what happens is the majority of the pricing that they get comes from what's called preferred or program vendors who work for the insurance company, not the insured. So they're going with those prices anyway.
Right.
So then I
They
went
tend to be
back
lower
because
than
I'm a
what
number.
you.
Correct. So I went back to 3 years ago, saw what they were paying as a labor rate, came to current and said, wait a minute, you only increased 30% over the last 3.5 years. Inflation is at 100. Inflation is cumulative. So every month that we have inflation, it's not like every month we start back from zero where we started. No, inflation is cumulative. So Don't tell me that the price didn't increase by 50%. I know what I'm paying at the gas pump from when but I, I know what my labor costs are. I know what the devaluation of the dollar has done. I know what the state of the economy is. So it's a numbers game. And so, and in the end user license agreement, because I read through it, I informed them that in paragraph 12.3, as revised in April of 2024, it specifically says that you cannot prevent price change. There is no industry standard. This is not the auto industry.
Right.
That is simply a point to start from. They don't guarantee their prices. And you, Mr. Insurer, as a user, you signed the same end user license agreement I did. You agree not to prevent me from doing that. So when you do that and refuse, then you have violated your agreement. So I will contact various legal department that I have their phone number for, and we'll see if you can continue to use their product because you work for XYZ Insurance, or if the restoration industry is bigger than you are. And we generally come to an understanding at that point.
It's all about the
So,
negotiation. You had to get
yeah,
good at negotiating things with them,
and I am
right? So I mean, it's
because
all
I'm a
business
businessman.
ownership. Look,
That's right.
when most people go and start doing something in the business, like we talked about the electrician, right? They go out, they start doing what they know how to do. The reality is that life is going to throw a lot of variables your way. There are things that are known, and there's a lot of things that aren't known. And the difficulty isn't dealing with what you know, is dealing with the things that suddenly hit you from the side, right? Like this isn't something that
Yes,
you were prepared to address when you started because you're told this is an insurance deal and they pay you based on what you submit, et cetera, et cetera. And it tells you, hey, some insurance company are going to be difficult. They're not going to want to pay whatever monies you put into it. And
correct.
sometimes you're going to have to fight it, right?
Yep,
And so those are
right,
the kind of surprises that people just don't get any warning of when they start in any business. I'm not just talking about yours, but any business at all. But let's move.
right.
Let's now fast forward a little bit into what comes next. Like, where are you going in the next 3 to 5 years?
I this year, in from year one, from 23 to 24, we just about doubled. We went from we did probably about 440 to 480, I want to say year one. Not accrual, all cash, just cash account. And last year we did right at 900,000
Okay,
in collections. We billed a little over a mil, about a 1.1. This year, on a cash basis, if I continue at the rate that I'm going, which I don't anticipate it'll slow down, we're going to easily get to probably 1.3 in cash
awesome.
collect that.
That is
So we're
certainly
growing at, my projection was 25% growth, and it looks like we're going to do 30 or better at a minimum. So I'm going to do that with the exact same size crew that I had before. And I honestly believe that doing 1.5 to 1.7 with what I have and maybe one other vehicle uh is like not even at a
you're not stretching.
we're not correct. We're not like, oh my God, we're working like animals over here. We're just, I'm gonna do that to my guys. So, and that's another thing, like my estimator, the one that I hired, he does the field. So that gives them some weekend off where they're not on call the whole time. Right now, they're the only two. Like a lot of times they don't work 40 hours in a week. But hey, they full time, they men, they need their money, they get paid 40 hours, whether they work it or not. If we work a lot of overtime hours, like we had a freeze down here, they worked a lot of hours. We had a flood track of time. Like, hey, y'all gonna be working a lot of hours? Let's keep track of time. You can make some overtime right here. I don't go back and say you don't get overtime because I paid you all these months that you weren't working 40 a week. That's not how it Works when you work
Right.
for me.
Right.
You go get paid what you when you work overtime, you get paid that overtime. Doesn't matter how much you didn't work before. I don't we don't keep track of after a year you get a week vacation and all. If you need off, take off, man. If you take off
Okay.
a week, take a week off. I'm good. This, you know, like I treat them like I would want to be treated, and you know, I mean, man, my wife knows them. If my wife comes to the office, she's hugging the people who work for me, and you know, we like a family. It's like we look out for each other, and it's important. It's the culture that we built for the company that I think the people who work for me realize that they have a vested interest in seeing that we succeed.
Love it.
And
That really
so
is
it
how you
shows
build a
when
great
they
team.
go out there. Correct. It shows in their performance, in their attitude, in the way they approach work, in the way they approach the customers. It they have ownership. I gave them ownership. Like you own this position, it's yours. Go do it. You know, I'm not your I'm not a babysitter. I'm not gonna fuss with I don't fuss. I don't rant and rave. If I need you to do something that you're not, then I just tell you, hey, look, I need you to do this instead. You know, we need to get this. And but because it's going to help me over here
Right.
and it's going to help us down the road. So they're like, okay. And they start doing it. If they forget, I remind them, they're like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Because it's new. And after reminding a couple of times, I don't have to ask for it. Hey, y'all got that sketch? Oh, yeah, look, it's in the back of the folder.
I'm sure, like anybody else, there's good days, there are bad days. The members, for the most part, will perform at the level that you want them to perform. And, when they are not up to speed, they get feedback on that. And that's really what it boils down to. Um, how do you set goals for them? I mean, do they have anything they're going after, or um, are there any performance indicators for them? How do you measure whether they're being effective?
They get a check.
They get a check.
They get a direct deposit every other Friday. They know they doing good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we certainly have
You
covered
know,
a lot
but
of
no,
ground.
well, and correct. I guess the thing is like right now is that we're we're not to the point yet that but like look for Christmas, busy or not, in the slow year, in the small year and in the big year, they got bonuses, you know? So they're rewarded for that. And as we grow and they're aware because I've always been fair with them, you know, I pay them well. Okay, look, instead of giving y'all a raise, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you X you for insurance, or you can take it and not do insurance, you know. I'm gonna give you X. And then so because of that, when I do it as a benefit, it's not taxable. So, you know, what I gave them is like right at close to $1.50 an hour in a raise. It doesn't show on their actual paycheck, but they just get an extra check every month. Do what you want with it. You see? So as we have grown, I've done those things. If they work a weekend or something where I'll call them, you know, they normally I give them off on Sunday. We don't monitor, we don't do anything on Sunday. But if we get a job that comes up, they do it. Or if they out till, you know, I call them at 10 o'clock at night and they out there till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. When they come in, I'm gonna give them, you know, $40, $50 for doing it. Not tax, just some cash money. Here you go. I
Yeah, yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
you. So
And
those are the type of things that I show them that they're appreciated.
the thing, it's
You know,
positive reinforcement, Drake. You
correct.
show them that you appreciate them all the time.
Yep.
Well, listen, we have
Yep.
covered a lot of ground on this conversation today, and for those people who are watching, I highly encourage you to save these and come back a few times for an additional watch. There's a lot of great nuggets here. And so, as we begin to wrap up, Drake, I have a few rapid fire questions. Okay, so
Okay.
quick top of head answers for each. What is the key to success for you?
Looking for where you're going, writing it down, and finding the people who can do what you do not to get you there.
There you go. Love it. What is your one piece of advice for other business owners?
Be prepared. Know that the journey is worth it. And if you decide to stay on the road, you will have to get out and push the car up the hill sometimes. But when you get to the top, when you top the hill, the coast is really fun.
Excellent. What is one book that you are reading now or do you have read that you will recommend everybody to get a hold of?
Uh, the power of thinking big is where you start, or the magic of thinking big, maybe it is. And the books by Norman Vincent Peale,
All right.
all of his. They are, I mean, that is what put me into a different dimension. But the
Yes.
first one I read was The Magic of Thinking Big. And never read a book once. Read it until you understand it.
What you put in here goes out there, happens out there.
That's correct.
So that's the
Listen
best
to it on
investment.
audio. You have constantly got to listen and hear from people who are where you want to be, not where you are.
There you go. And so
You
if
don't
you had
need
to
to
choose,
listen to, yeah, you listen to the power of of being a billionaire if you want to be a millionaire.
that's right.
That's, yeah, it's always where you're going.
Excellent. So if you had to choose only one area of your business, you could immediately improve tomorrow. What will it be?
Billing, getting the bills out quicker.
Quicker. Yeah, that's certainly
Yep,
in
because it
this
affects my
industry, it
cash
is
flow.
helpful. Yeah,
That's
of
right.
course.
And
So
that's why I got the that's why I got the guy. Yeah, that's what I did. It's just he's doing it, but I still have to review it.
right. And
So another
it's
week
going
or
to take some
two,
investment on your time
it
to
yep,
make sure that he
yes,
does
it
it right.
will. Yep.
Right.
But
But
that's
that's what it
that was
is.
the one area that I was suffering was that.
That's what it is. It's an investment. You're putting time in with the expectation to get a return on that, that you won't have to deal with that again in the future because he'll be capable
That's
of that.
right.
And so
Correct.
before we get to the final question of the day, Drake, how can other people learn more about you and your company? How can they get in touch with you?
We are our website is restoration1.com/Lafayette, or you can put a zip code for the Lafayette area in. It'll come up. That's our corporate franchise site. We have local pages there. And our number, or you can call, is really easy. 337 restore.
There you go. That's easy enough. And so the final question of the day, Drake, is what do you find that is most inspiring for you today?
I always say you have to have a why. And my why is so I can continue. I've been married 42 years to the same woman. We've been together 45. And I've always said, if you want to be the king, you need to make a queen. And if you make a queen, you can become a king. Well, my queen is my wife.
There you go. There you go. She's the inspiration. And these are your muse.
That's why I do what I do. My
I
wife,
love
my
it.
children, and my grandchildren. No other reason. I'm not here to impress anyone.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And so, Drake, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all these with us. Thank you to the audience for watching and sharing this information. You never know who you might be inspiring by getting them to listen to or view this interview. And so, without further ado, I'll see you next time. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you,
and thank
Drake.
you very much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.